Okay, unless you're a leaker or something, there is absolutely no way that you would have seen this SEGA Power Surge trailer coming. The fact that so many old SEGA titles are now being put in this modern lens is very interesting, very shocking, and oh my days, very exciting. As someone who grew up with SEGA, obviously I played a lot of the Mega Drive games on collections on the PS2. And then of course we had Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, which introduced a lot of us, especially us younger guys, to the wider world of SEGA. This is incredibly exciting, especially the fact that at the end of the trailer, SEGA still hasn't confirmed to us what this trailer means and what all of these games mean. It's very easy to say that, oh yeah, these games will be coming out here and there, which, yeah, I think in terms of not getting our hopes too sky high, that makes a lot of sense. However, there is a possibility that this could be a collection, and even though this is incredibly wishful thinking, this could be another console, a Dreamcast 2, or Power Surge the console. I don't know why Power Surge is in the title, but even then, what does Power Surge mean? It's like they're hinting towards something. Even the trailer itself, in my opinion, they presented it in a way that maybe a PlayStation would promote their games. Remember how epic and grand that State of Play livestream was when they first announced the PS5? Although it's not quite on that level, it reminds me of quite a few of the PlayStation trailers found in that long livestream. What is Sega hiding? And what is Sega building anticipation for? Hey, whatever it is, I'm all here for, and I'm curious. Obviously, let's talk about what was revealed, and that's that Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Crazy Taxi, and more will be getting remakes in some way, shape or form. I would take that. I haven't even played all of these titles before, like Jet Set Radio I've never played before, but oh my days, I want to try them. They all look really cool, and these don't look like cheap remakes whatsoever. They look like they were made from the ground up, and Sega has actually made that jump to modern times. They're actually making games that have, what, maybe the PS5 and the Xbox Series X in mind. Especially with these graphics, oh my days, did you see the Crazy Taxi part? That part had me springing out of my chair. Like, this looks like Burnout Paradise Remastered or something. I want this so bad. Shinobi straight up looks like a Dead Cells sequel, which, even though I've never played Dead Cells before, that's definitely a game that looks very visually cool. So translating that into a classic like Shinobi, I think that's really cool. And then Golden Axe just straight up, I mean, do I even need to say anything? It just looks really good, and it definitely has the modern consoles and obviously PC in mind. I think the game that I'm most nervous for is Streets of Rage. We recently had Streets of Rage 4, which has been a great game across the board. I think they've done an amazing job with that. However, it's in 3D now, which, is this going to be good? I am going to give it a shot and see how well it plays, but I am a little bit worried about it because obviously this is a jump from 2D to 3D, and especially if you've been paying attention to the gaming industry, or if you know your history with the gaming industry, in the 90s going into the 2000s, it was a bit of a rough transition. Obviously we're living in different times now. It's a lot easier to jump from 2D to 3D, as we've seen with Ukulele for example, but with a classic series like Streets of Rage, is it going to work well in 3D? I guess we're going to have to find out. Overall, with the games that we did see, I'm very impressed with how they're looking. I think they all look very distinct, they all look super flashy, and once again it looks like Sega spent a lot of time and energy on these titles, which is great to see. This is looking good, and I'm very excited. Now, if this wasn't intriguing enough, we are also stuck in mystery because there are supposedly more games being basically rebooted for these modern times. This is going to be so interesting because Sega has such an interesting lineup of franchises, and there are a ton of Sega franchises that need to be resurrected. If you were to ask me what games I would love to add to this lineup of reboots, I would have to say Rise Star, Fantasy Zone, Bonanza Bros, and Billy Hatcher. I think all of these having this reboot treatment would be super interesting, and I would honestly pay to see what these things will look like on something like a PS5 or even a PC. But something that you don't need to pay to see is the subscribe button and the bell notification icon as well. You see what I did there? Basically, if you're a Sega fan, you would absolutely love this channel because we tend to cover Sega quite a lot here. So please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and hit the bell notification so that you don't miss a single one of my videos. Thanks. Now with the games that I just listed earlier, obviously with the exception of Billy Hatcher, which is already a 3D platformer, I think the other games would do really well going from 2D to 3D. I think Rise Star would be a really cool 3D platformer. I think that Fantasy Zone would be super interesting and could give us the Star Fox experience that we've been missing for so many years. No, I'm not counting Star Fox Zero, please get on that, Nintendo. And I think that Bonanza Bros absolutely needs to be in 3D. I replayed the original on the Mega Drive the other day, and obviously it's still a fun game of course, but a 3D Bonanza Bros game would be really cool to see. But overall though, I think that Sega's idea is to leave a massive footprint in 2024. It seems like they want to deliver a lot of games. Don't get me wrong, the Sonic franchise has been doing well as always. Obviously Sonic Superstars recently released. However, as we all know, Sega franchises haven't really been very relevant or haven't really been making any movements in recent times. So as a classic nerd like myself, someone who absolutely loves everything retro, seeing a lot of these franchises come back to life in modern times, being rebooted and basically spec'd up for modern systems, I think that is incredibly cool, and I hope that Sega shakes the scene up a little bit and makes it interesting. However, I will shake of anger if Streets of Rage 5 is bad.